Please help me welcome to the stage filmmakers DA Pennebaker and Hope Ryden and editor Nell Cox. Wow. Let's just start with wow. There's a reason we've shown this movie several times, and every time I see something different, and it is so incredible to me what honesty you captured and what vulnerability in moments that I know the whole audience collectively was gasping as we're watching Jane Fonda live through this. And I wanted to start with a question, just more generally, what brought you to this film with Drew Associates? How did this film come to be?
Hope brought us to it.
Yeah, I did. I think I did. I thought it would either be a huge success, or if she could make it, it would be a huge success. But I didn't have confidence in that. But I thought she can't fail because she's you know.
And when you went to Jane and when you went to that whole community of the theater, what was their response when you said, we would like to follow you around with cameras and capture all of this? How did you have to talk people into it, or were people receptive?
I think they were receptive at that time because we'd done this before. And
They thought it would be a great kind of like a party, you know, that they were going to give, and we were going to come as guests. But the thing that's kind of, when I watch, I haven't seen this film for a while. I saw it when Jane came, and we got her to finally decide she liked the film. For a long time, she did not want to see this film because it was made in an effort to convince her father that she was going to be a good actress. And you can see that didn't work too well. But the fact is, when you watch it now, it's hard to believe, because you have an actress, you have a kind of a movie story where let's all put on a play together. Everything about it is the Hollywood movie. But you can't believe you're really watching the real thing, because it's so kind of terrifying and real that you think it must be enacted in some way. But it's not. Everything that happened, I know, was really happening in front of that camera. And the thing about the camera that you have to appreciate is it never lies if you don't let it. It's just, that's what the camera saw, all those things. The Drew operation was, we were sort of semi-professional home movie makers, whatever that means. And nobody had a real thing that they were, had been trained for. We all sort of did everything. We all swept, we all shot, we all edited. It was kind of it was like we were inventing something, and we didn't really know what it was we were inventing because we couldn't see it. We just sort of knew it was happening, and we finished these films and then started another one. She knew we had cameras and we were filmmakers, but she didn't have any sense that we were her enemy, which in most instances, that is the way it would have come down. When I go into a theater with a camera to shoot the person on opening night, I'm the enemy. There's no question in my mind. And I have to sort of at least get around that. In her case, we were part of her family. So it was like, I don't know, watching it, it made me feel really weird and horrible in some ways, because I was the one that brought down this disaster on him. We had to show it to her. That was the deal that we made with her agent. And I used to see her agent all the time over in the hotel across the street. And he was always saying, she's never going to release this film. You're never going to finish it, whatever it was. I remember she watched the film, and we were all sitting in the room with her. And when she came out, her nails had just practically drawn blood on her insides of her hands. And she kind of looked at us and she said, "Where's the thing? I'll sign it." Like that. You gotta remember, we were Life magazine at the time. Drew worked for Life and we worked for Drew. And Life magazine was a golden key for that kind of thing. If we'd just been who I am now, I would have probably not even seen him. I've talked to Gene Kerr on the phone and gotten whiffed off,
And
I think
where did
also in those days people didn't know what they were getting
hold your
into.
mic up. Hold your mic.
Oh, in those days, people didn't know what they were getting into, don't you think, Penny? Because there's been so many
Well, it hadn't
people.
happened really before
It hadn't,
much.
yeah.
No.
So they were very naive about what they were getting into. Even someone as sophisticated and
I
in
mean,
the
when
business
we
as
started
Jane.
these films, we didn't have even a camera that you could have shot this film with. We had to sort of sneak money out of Time Life while we were working there to build a sync camera that you could carry around and go into the streets with and record conversations, dialogue. And without the dialogue, you can't make this kind of film. You need the dialogue. But you need to have it where you can't have people come into your studio, which is all fitted out with tripods and sound and everything else, and have them repeat whatever they said the week before. You have to see it when it happens. And that requires a camera that you can hold, that you can put on your shoulder, and a tape recorder, which a whole pad, which you can record sound with. The sound is rough, but it's the real sound. And when I hear that, it still gives me a kind of, it makes me shake a little bit, because I think people probably really in true fact didn't want us to record the real sound. They would have been happy to have shaped it up a little bit and done it the next week. But the way we were doing it, you had to have it be real.
Well, the idea wasn't mine. I think it was because I didn't think it would be a flop. And when I saw that it was going to be a flop, I thought we can make the best of this, because now we have done something more real. A lot of there are more flops probably than successes, and people don't want to say that. But I thought it had much more feeling than it would have had if it was a huge success and everybody said hello and goodbye and hooray and everything. This was not that kind of it turned into that. But I think that was what we thought we might get. And we were at least honest enough to just go with what it was and make the best of it, and I think it was better that way.
But that was our role, was to sit there and wonder what was going to happen next and hope that we'd have film in the camera when it happened. It's very chancy. It was not a well-planned
No, we didn't plan for
thing.
it to be as serious and sad.
The fact is, we didn't know what we were doing most of the time,
Oh, we knew what
which
we were
probably
doing.
was what
No,
made it
we
work.
did.
The problem was that we were shooting this stuff when we really didn't understand exactly what our effect on people was with these cameras, shooting their real lives. And so when we came to edit it, we were sort of trying to make normal movies. Originally, I think the plan at Life was to have us do film work that would be sort of kind of be journalistic. And I think after the first film we did, which was in Synanon with all the dope addicts, and this was 2 or 3 times later, I think by then that we all wanted to make movies like we saw in movie houses. We all wanted to be directors. So Drew kind of got carried away with it, and we all kind of were inventing something, and we really thought, we were inventing the movies, which of course we weren't. We were repeating movies we'd seen as children, really, most of the time. So the fact is that we were moving in the direction of making the kind of movies that we've been brought up on. But we were making them in a new way, with a camera on our shoulder and one other person taking sound and making it all up as we went along, with no writer saying, the script says this, what are you doing? None of that happened. We were able to do whatever we wanted because it was all free.
We didn't tell anybody what they were supposed to talk about. We never did that.
No, you
I
never
didn't.
directed anybody at all. You didn't dare. It was like a funny, well, it just seemed
Well, you had
such
to-
a marvelous thing to be handed to us that we could hardly wait to do them.
But also, I think, Penny, you used to say that when if you ever tell anybody to do something, like come through the door again,
Yeah.
we missed it, then they would be destroyed.
Oh yeah, you
as a
couldn't.
pr-
You
as
never
a-
did that.
as a subject,
You-
because then
you'd
from
be
then
off
on
the
they would be
case.
thinking you have some kind of expectation.
Right.
You'd be like
And-
the doctor that misdiagnosed. You know,
Right,
you'd do-
yeah.
Well, they wouldn't want
They
to hear
would be
from you again.
destroyed as a subject because they would be waiting for your
Yeah.
opinion.
But
Something
what
like
was
that.
going on in that camera was sort of sacred,
Yeah.
and it was like you couldn't get involved with. You couldn't touch it. You
That's well
couldn't touch it. It was its own god, and
And
you just happened to be holding it.
And thank you so much to Nell, to Penny, to Hope. Thank you.